Hey everybody, before my video, I have an important announcement to make, kind of a public service announcement and a consumer warning. Now, if you love RVing like I do and you despise sleazy people that take advantage of others and fleece them for their money, I want you to watch a video called The Truth About Camping World. It's here on YouTube. Type in the search bar, The Truth About Camping World. If you know someone that is on the verge of buying an RV through Camping World, don't let them do it until they've watched this video. It is that important. On YouTube, The Truth About Camping World. It is the most honest, complete, direct expose of Camping World I have ever seen. And when you watch it, I think it is going to blow your mind like it did mine. All right, The Truth About Camping World. Up now is an interview with my good friend and I think a hero to the RV industry, Mr. Kevin Fraser.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
All right, folks, I want to begin the hour by saying that I have no axe to grind with anyone in the RV industry. I really don't. But during this hour, you may think otherwise. The purpose of this hour of the RV Show USA is to provide some insight into a part of the RV world that few people know exists. And I think it's a very ugly part of the RV world that nobody wants to be in, but unfortunately it happens to good people. And when good people are finally in that part of the, in that situation, and they get schooled, rolled, if you will, and they don't even know it, it is really bad. Now, in the studio, all the way from Iowa, is a man that has a lot of experience in hearing how folks are getting taken to the cleaners, so to speak. His name is Kevin Fraser from Cheyenne Camping Center. Kevin, this hour, I know you were going to tell us about one of the biggest names in the RV world, and it is not good, is it?
Oh, it's about a company called Camping World. But Camping World is... really, it's one man. His name's Marcus Lemoynis. He controls the stock. He controls everything Camping World. And he runs a series of usurious practices, primarily, and he tells the public this, he's looking to the first-time RV buyer. Because the first-time RV buyer, the greenhorn, the newbie, doesn't really know anything. And Alan, I can't thank you enough for having me with your audience. Your audience is sophisticated. They're not going to fall for most of these tricks, but they're also opinion makers. And if we can talk to them today and get them to watch I know it's a long video, it's 23 minutes long, but the poet taught me that the truth cannot be but believed if it's understood. And it had to be 23 minutes long to be understood. And if your audience can counsel their nieces and nephews, the friends of their kids, when they're buying their first-time RV, that you don't have to do these things. Go into Camping World and they're told everybody does it this way. They go into Camping World and they say, it's not like cars, and they fall for it. In our business, 70 years, we have said.
You know, you don't know, especially when you've never bought an RV before. When you're a tin horn, when you're a newbie, you don't know what you don't know, and you believe somebody, and they're well trained. They're probably nice enough people, but they are telling things that aren't exactly. It's not full disclosure, I think, and that's. At all is what I'm hearing. Folks, we've got Kevin Fraser in the studio with us. He is one of the owners of Cheyenne Camping Center up in Iowa. Kevin, tell us a little bit about your background. You said you've been in business, you guys, for more than a half a century. How did you get this, this thing to go against Camping World? What made you create this video in the first place?
Well, I opened my file on Marcus Lemoynis and Camping World in 2013. And the things they were doing were kind of bothering me, but I was kind of cowardly too. I was getting yelled at by old Edmund Burke, who was saying, all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. But I wasn't really motivated until last year in February. I'm the chief of this little village, this Cheyenne Camping Center. And that last year in February, Camping World bought our crosstown rival. And immediately, through every vector I could imagine, the message came over that Camping World is going to put you down, like the last trip to the vet for the beloved family pet. And
Wow.
the message even came. He says that how they're going to do it. I mean, it came everywhere except a fish wrapped in newspaper. And they were going to take our vendor supply. We wouldn't have any product. They were going to strong arm Forest River that sells us our new RVs, and we wouldn't have anything. Then they were going to take our employees. And then they were going to take our customers. Now, they tried the first one, but Forest River rebuffed them immediately. And my employees, we operate on the village model. Everybody is for everybody else. We're solid, static. If you do what you can do, you're part of the village. It's hard to get into the village, but there was no chance there. In fact, without very much passage of time, we had the pick of the litter from the former Thompson sales. But that left me.
So hang on. So are you telling me that you actually heard veiled threats, or you just were feeling them, sensing them?
No, they were verbal threats. I've been told since then that whenever Camping World moves into a new market, that this is the standard operating procedure, to throw out their chest and tell the world that every dealer in town is going to go out of business. I'm told that that's how they frequently close the deal to buy a store, by threatening that if that deal doesn't, and they always buy the first or second best deal in a market, if you don't sell out to Camping World, well, we'll just build a greenfield site next to you and you'll be over.
Wow. So I understand you made this video. What was that? Was there one thing that you said, you know what? I'm making a video. I'm going to tell the truth. And folks, we've got Kevin Fraser in the studio with Cheyenne Camping Center. He has produced a beautiful, a spectacular video that I think every RVer needs to watch. You can come away from it feeling, believing what Kevin says, or you can disbelieve it, but you need to at least watch it. It's very enlightening. So what was the one thing that made you go, I'm doing it?
I think that the fact that my village was threatened, and we started to open up the file. And I found that there were collaborators that were anxious to join with me. I had 16 collaborators, believe it. And each and every one of those collaborators saw the files, saw what they were doing, read the reports, and they were enthused. And that's what kept me going. And I told every one of them that if they did their best work, they would earn St. Peter points negotiable at the pearly gates. And damned if they didn't.
So you produced this 20-plus minute video, and I know that you know this, but nobody watches a 20-minute video anymore. They want it in about 20 seconds or 1 or 2 minutes. You make a 20-minute video, and it's riveting. As soon as you start watching it, you're just drawn into it. It's amazing.
The people are divided up in the who, what, when, where category. The people that are going to watch a 20-minute video are the people that want to know why. This is your audience. Your audience are the opinion makers. They're the perfect folks to watch that video and let the world know so that they don't get trapped. Knowledge is power. You will not fall victim to these. These are confidence tricks. They are very highly polished and tested, Chicago-style confidence tricks. But if you know what's coming at you before you go in there, you won't fall for it. There's some keys to the tricks. And the key is they talk you into financing with them rather than your own credit union.
Now, Kevin, I want to save that for our next segment. Folks, there is you've got to watch this video. We're going to go ahead and put a link up on our social media. Actually, I see it already here posted. If you go to YouTube, you can look it up just in the search bar, type under The Truth About Camping World, and it will be the first thing that pops up. And watch it. Like I said, you can read the comments. I think of all the comments, less than 2% of the people said, you're just a greedy. You're just as bad as they are. But I mean, almost everybody unanimously said, we had no idea this was going to happen to us. And you've just got to watch this video, especially if you know somebody that's getting ready to buy their first RV, because they don't know what they don't know.
Last week, a woman came into my office. She was visibly upset. She was angry. And she wanted to know what I was going to do to fix it. And I'd never met her. I didn't know what she was talking about. And she thrust one of these cell phones into my face, and there's a photograph on there. And that photograph says, "Show Special 24999." And it was a picture of a sign from a Camping World. It was a Cougar travel trailer, and I'm trying to catch up. She's mad. She's mad at me. What do I need to fix? And she says, one of your people just said we called the bank and we owe $35,000. We bought this 4.5 years ago. We put money down and we've been making payments. How can we owe $35,000? She's mad at me. I sit her down. I try to calm her down. I talk to her about how this could have happened. And the Camping World people at the show are remarkable. It's like they run an abattoir. And she had been this was her first RV. She was there to trade. And she said, it's impossible. We can't owe this much money. I explained to her what might have happened. I told her about the video. She wasn't having any of it. What are you going to do to fix it? I said, well, did you buy an extended service plan? What's that? Oh, it's an extended warranty. Yes, we did. How much did you pay for it? She didn't know. The average is $4,000. I said,
Ooh.
at least one thing you can do is get a refund on that.
All right, Kevin, stand by. Folks, we've got Kevin Fraser in the house, and he is amazing. We're going to talk more about Camping World and some of the things that Camping World is doing to get money out of your pocket. And we're going to try to educate the public. All right, this is the RV Show USA. My name is Alan Warren, and Camping World, if you're listening, you're invited to be on the show as well. Y'all stick around. Be right back.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
From coast to coast via the Salem Radio Network, this is the RV Show USA, and we are back live in the studio with our guest, Kevin Fraser from Cheyenne Camping Center in Iowa, who's telling us, well, he's taken on the proverbial giant Camping World and exposing the truth about their tactics and how good people are getting, well, they're getting hosed. I think, Kevin, that's probably one way to say it. Probably not the most articulate way, but the bottom line from watching your video is they are doing some very questionable business practices. Am I right?
They currently offer financing for tent trailers for 204 months, 17 years to pay off a tent. Now,
What?
And why would you want something that long? Because you can hide a lot of malfeasance in a 17-year payoff. What I tell my client is, how long's the average car and truck loan? 7 years. If you buy a camper at a discount price and you put 15% down and you don't add any weird intangibles in imaginary benefit programs like those extended warranties, ESPs, road service and stuff, and you put it on an 84-month note, you will never have negative equity. The lady I was talking about before owes $35,000 on a trailer she thought she bought for $25,000 4.5 years ago.
How does it happen, Kevin? How does it happen where I go in, I find an ad, I walk into Camping World and say, I want to buy that RV right there. Tell me how I get rolled and I don't know about it till it's too late.
We documented it completely in the video with our example, Tom Smith. He had an ad. They talk about competing with us directly. We will beat any price. That's the bottom line. They advertise that they will beat Cheyenne Camping Center's price. That's the bottom line. This Tom Smith walked into Camping World. He was carrying a magazine ad for a 26-foot bunkhouse trailer, $15,999. That was Camping World. He's carrying our eBay ad, $15,999. Comparable model. And the next thing that happened, he said, well, I want to use my own financing. I want to go with the credit union. Well, if you use your own financing, the camper costs $1,500 more. Say what? There's a law that passed in 1970. It's called the Truth in Lending Act. If you offer goods for one price for credit and one price for cash, that's against the law, but that's what they did. And then what do you got against that? You get the $1,500 discount. Remember, they advertised it was $16. Now it's $18.50 if you don't finance it. But once they got him going down that path, and they worked him over for 5 hours, then they're adding. Anybody in your audience bought a camper from a dealer where they were told they have to pay extra for freight? Well, Tom did. Did
Really?
anybody have to pay extra to have the trailer checked out, prepped? Tom did. Did anybody ever have to pay extra to have someone show him how to use the camper, how to have a battery put in it? They made it mandatory that he buy paint protection, a policy that wasn't worth the paper it was on, and they hit him for an extended service protection plan. The boss of all things Camping World calls it extended warranty. It's not. It's like prepaid service work with an insurance component. That's why it's regulated by your insurance commissioner in the state. By the time he was done, if you add up all of the costs associated with buying our trailer and their trailer, starting at $15,999, in the example that we document, it cost Tom $10,300 more at Camping World, a 60% kicker.
For the same exact unit.
Comparable.
Okay. I think if I were in your shoes, I can only imagine seeing customers that you're not from a really big community, so you know a lot of the people that are there, and just seeing good people being taken advantage of. No wonder you stood up. You said enough is enough. I mean, I guess you intended to be the whistleblower. I say you're my hero now. You really are, Kevin. I mean,
while making the video, I couldn't believe that somebody else hadn't done it before. The abuse here is egregious. I get consultants come into my office several times a year telling me, oh no, the Camping World's the normal way of doing things. Now, if you don't do it, you're going to go out of business. We have to kick those people out. I watch as Lemoyne bought some of the best stores in the country. He's got 140 dealerships now. He always buys the one or two best store in a community. He was pillaging his own villages. This is a complete mystery to me. Why would you do that? Why would you engage in a business practice that would destroy your own repeat business in the future?
it sounds like that movie Wall Street with Michael Douglas. You know, the guy that played Gordon Greco, the corporate raider. It sounds like he's that kind of a, I don't know, he comes in and just levels everything for the bottom line dollar. But when you buy the number one or two RV dealership in a market, you're buying more than a lot full of RVs. You're buying tremendous amounts of goodwill, aren't you?
He monetizes the goodwill. The employees don't last more than 6 months. The story brought across town from me. He told the management they had 5-year contracts. They were gone in 35 days. And how does he get rid of people? He makes promises. This guy, his first job when he was a young man, he ran for political office in Florida for the legislature. He lost. And somewhere along the line, I surmise he concluded that the reason he lost is because he didn't make enough promises. He didn't make enough campaign promises. And he watched as the man that beat him broke every campaign promise, and this formed the pattern for the rest of his life.
Sounds like a politician to me.
He makes promises, he breaks promises, but here's the bad part: no consequences. So when he makes promises to the people that work at these stores he acquires, they have to find out on their own. They come to make applications with me, and they tell me the stories.
Later on, and we've got Kevin Fraser in our studio with us, folks, from Cheyenne Camping Center, with an amazing story. He has done his homework on Camping World. And Camping World, I know you're listening. You are invited to jump on the show with me for an hour one time. Just get in touch with us, and I promise you we will give you the floor. But, Kevin, I'm going to ask you, not right now, but I'm going to ask you, aren't you afraid of getting crushed, sued by somebody like Marcus Lemonis? I mean, this guy's I don't know how rich he is, but he's plenty stout, and he could. So anyway, I want to ask you, what is it like when you have your customers that come in and they want to trade in their RV that they maybe bought last year, year and a half ago? They want to trade it in for another one. And then they find out what happened to them at Camping World. What's that like for you?
The lady I mentioned before, she wanted to know what I was going to do about her 4.5-year-old purchase that she owes $10,000 more than she was told she paid for it. I couldn't calm her down. I told her about how she could recapture some of the money by demanding a refund on her ESP, or Extended Service Protection Plan. She says, "Can you do that for me?" I said, "No, you have to do that at the Camping World store where you bought it." "Well, you can't do anything. You're no good." And she stomped off.
So she's mad at you.
Whoa, no, not just that. No, I see this over and over and over again. She hates me. She hates Camping World. She hates Thor because they built her trailer, the Cougar, but she hates everybody that makes an RV. She hates the bank that bought the paper from Camping World. She is one and done. We've been in business for 70 years. What do we expect? We expect that they'll buy 4 RVs if they buy one. but 210,000 people are going to one and done because they bought their first one at Camping World.
Hang on, Kevin. We got to jump for another break. Folks, what an amazing story it is, and we've got the video. Kevin's got the video to prove it. It's called The Truth About Camping World. Check him out on YouTube. We've got Kevin for the next half hour. In fact, for our online listeners, we're going to keep him after the show is even over if y'all want to talk directly with him. This is the RV Show USA. We will be right back.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
Kevin Fraser with Cheyenne Camping Center up in Iowa is live in the studio with us here in Texas, telling us about his video that is, well, I think it is devastating. I don't think there's any other word for it. Devastating to Camping World. It's called The Truth, and it really is devastating. What has been the response from the public, Kevin, to your video?
I have about 40,000 new friends.
I think you got more than that.
There's been some negative stuff from Camping World employees, but then the most amazing things, then they're not Camping World employees anymore, and now they're our best friends. They call me up and tell me all the inside dirt. Now, people don't last long at Camping World. They got a turnover rate that looks like 100% a year, but they're being paid out of the short con. What Camping World, what Lemoynis is doing to our customers, the people that buy RVs, that's the short con. That's not even where the money is. The whole idea here was to make these ginormous profits, like an extra $10,000 on a $16,000 sale, so they could show that to the Wall Street and sell stock. They sold $1 billion worth of stock last year. I think the con's already over. I think he won the short con and the long con. I don't know what's going to happen.
I want to ask you, what kind of an effect, I have my own theory, but what kind of an effect is this going to have, what Camping World is doing to the newbie, to the first-time RV buyer? What kind of an effect is that going to have on the industry overall?
We're already in the recession. We're in the Camping World recession.
But people are saying, oh, and I hear great stories. Sales are up. But there's been this little thing building up inside of me going, I sense something's going on, and maybe that's it.
Well, maybe my data's a little newer, but it looks like we're heading for a 15% secular decline, and it's completely explainable. As by my calculations, Camping World is buried. And that's the right use of the word buried. Because it's concealed, it's hidden, it's covered up. They don't find out what's happened to them until they go to trade it in 2-4 years. Marcus Lemoynis, by the way, says people trade every about 32 months. I think it's more like 40. But they find out how upside down they are, and they're not going to trade ever. And you say 210,000 people, that's a lot of families. Yes, but it's 70,000 people that should have traded this year. And that 70,000 is about 1/6 of the RV market. You're 15% down. That's a recession. Well, let's take this one more step. What if a real recession comes in a couple of years? Now we're in a depression, and was it Marcus Lemoynis' plan to salt away $1 billion so he could ride out the recession, all the other dealers go out of business, and he comes back with what he always coveted, monopoly?
What can someone do? And we're going to, we're bouncing all over the place, but what can I do? Obviously, if I'm a first-time buyer, go in and go, or even if I bought RVs before, I'm going to buy through Camping World or buy through Cheyenne Camping Center. Take your time and read everything and ask lots of questions. I guess that's the first thing, but what can someone do if they have been like the lady that you said that is $10,000 upside down in her RV after 4 years? What can someone do if they think that they've been taken advantage of?
Well, in the video, we outline what can happen. You can make a complaint to the Attorney General. You can talk to an attorney. But you're right. Marcus Lemoynis is a scary guy. What makes a guy scary? Well, the laws do not apply. He's a scary guy. Look what he does with the violations of the... look, at 48 years, the Truth in Lending Act has been in place. 48 years. Every year I get at least one nasty lecture. They say to me, oh, Mr. RV dealer, if you offer goods for one price cash, one price credit, you're in violation of this federal law. And the federal judge, first time you do it, he's going to fine you something silly. Second time, you're going to the pokey.
But you're saying Camping World does this all the time. Why do they not get slapped with a fine or something happened to him?
He's got some kind of juice. And that's why he's scary. And you talked earlier about your concerns about
reprisals.
Yes.
Yeah, coming after me.
Okay, now we live in a free society, Alan. We still got protections. And the most important protection of all is for whistleblowers, and it came about because of one man. We got time?
Yeah, we have a minute and a half in this segment, and then we got all next segment. We got as much time as you want, Kevin.
One of the great heroes of American jurisprudence, Louis Brandeis. Yes, the same guy that they named the university after. He came of age at the beginning of the last century, the end of the 1800s, and he noticed that America, which is founded on the notion of individuals and individual liberty, that the individual was being crushed by the growth of big everything, big business, big labor, big government. And he determined that he would be the man. When he became a Supreme Court justice, he wrote this: publicity is justly commended as a remedy for social and industrial diseases. Sunlight is said to be the best of disinfectants, electric light the most efficient policeman. What he's saying is that those among us must speak up. We must rat out the evildoers so that we're not crushed by big.
Oh, man. Kevin, hang on. One more break. When we come back, I'm going to ask you about the CEO of Camping World, Marcus Lemonis, and what you would like to ask him or maybe tell him if you had the opportunity. So hang with us, folks. This is the RV Show USA, and the fireworks are going. Thanks for being with us. Be right back.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
All right, folks, this entire hour has been focusing on the truth video that is, it's on fire on YouTube, really is. It is exposing some of the incredibly shady business tactics that Camping World is burying RV buyers with. Kevin Fraser, the whistleblower and truth teller, has started a public awakening to Camping World's tactics. If you have missed any of this interview, you can catch it on iTunes, Google Play, on Stitcher, on our website at thervshowusa.com, and on our YouTube channel. All right, Kevin, I want to know this. What would you ask the CEO of Camping World, Marcus Lemonis, if he was sitting right here? What would you ask him?
I got like 100 bladder spasm interrogatories for this fella, but I got a promise too. I try to keep my promises. There's a little old lady in Florida, and she has an English accent, and she is just a delight. And she called me up a month after the video ran, and she wanted me to tell her how this could happen. 50 years ago, she was a board member of Good Sam. And she told me that Good Sam was a non-profit fraternal order. A non-profit. And she loved it. And she said that it was one of the most important organizations she belonged to in her whole life. She said that the rallies they had were like jamborees, Girl Scout jamborees for adults. And she wanted to know what happened. How did it become a for-profit insurance selling company? A very rapacious for-profit. And I said, honestly, I had never even thought of this. I'm old enough to remember when it was a fraternal order of like-minded RVers. How does, and I don't know how it happens in the Internal Revenue Code for one thing, but who do you buy a charity from? Who gets the money? Who signs the paperwork? I don't know.
The guy with the money to pay somebody else off?
There's two golden rules. The one that we abide by, and the older one. Then when the gold makes the rules. Anyway.
But hang on. What do you say, though? Because Camping World really has made a lot of mom and pop RV dealers wealthy. You know, they've been able to sell their business. What do you say? Because it's not all bad, is it? I mean,
oh, no, I'm not entirely sure about that, Alan. I have not talked to anybody. Well, first of all, all those sellers of RVs are under what must be a really toothy non-disclosure agreement. They won't tell you what happened.
So if I'm selling my dealership, I may get a lot of money, but I can't talk about it.
That's right.
Okay.
And then, how do I know these things? I can't find anybody that's happy. The one thing that they always say they're really, really happy about is that they got a very lucrative lease on the facility that is going to cover the families, and they're mostly families, the retirement needs. But I'm afraid there's plans in the works. There's plans inside of plans. I can't unravel them all, but it's a complicated situation. We've got a man who's destined to be. He has set his sights on becoming a billionaire, and there's nobody going to get in his way.
Well, it sounds like you and your team and a lot of people are trying to get in the way, at least standing up for the truth and what is right. You used an analogy in your video, Kevin, about a garden. And share that analogy with our listeners, because I think it's you can picture the whole thing.
Well, actually, it comes from Warren Buffett. Now, when Camping World takes over a store, they get rid of all the people quickly because they need to replace them. Well, see, they don't fit the plan. That they built the business, they've been there 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and they look at building a business where they're going to become part of the community. They're going to build a customer base. They're going to build a future, a career. And Marcus Lemoynis doesn't have anything to do with that. He's about monetizing. He's about turning that goodwill and that customer list into cash because he's got to impress Wall Street so he can sell those shares. Buffett didn't look at businesses this way. He said it was like an orchard. He one of his famous quotes is, "I can sit in the shade because those that came before me planted and nurtured this tree." And what he's saying is the people that run that business, they know how to run the business. They know how it was made. They care about how the customers, how it's going to go in the future. You know, Buffett bought the RV company that supplies this OEM. That's Forest River. I didn't have much to think about it until I watched. And then I learned that Buffett buys companies. He buys the people. He wants the people to stay, and the companies get better. And in this case, both companies got better. When Lemoynis buys a company, it's to liquidate it. He is Lemoynis, the liquidator.
So so it sounds like to me, I mean, I don't want to get in trouble here, but it sounds like to me, if I was the billionaire, I go in and I buy a really nice dealership that has got a big following, lots of loyal, friendly customers, people that love them, and I go in and I go, okay, we're going to ride on that, and we're not going to burn them, but that's the effect. They're going to sell them as much as they can, bury them, and leave.
Well,
you got, as long as you're continuing to grow, they keep building more stores and buying more. And I think that if I was somebody selling a dealership, who wouldn't want a big old paycheck? But then, and I'm, here I go thinking again. But if I owned my dealership and I had a non-disclosure agreement, but I got a big old fat paycheck on a lease payment, what happens if that company goes bankrupt? What happens to my lease payment? It goes away, doesn't it? I would think.
They are unsecured creditors. And there's just a possibility that as Camping World's reputation gets a lot sour, that they're laying the plans already. Just last weekend, they renamed the Camping World NASCAR Truck Series the Gander Outdoors. There's past his prologue here. When the company that was the same company, but it preceded Camping World, it was called Freedom Roads. When their rep got so bad, they ditched that name. Lemoynis worked for the company then, but he wasn't the big boss, and renamed it Camping World. They could be setting up for a strategic bankruptcy right now. Like, what happens in a strategic bankruptcy? Well, those shareholders are wiped out.
Yep.
Those landlords, they're unsecured creditors, and I don't know what.
Okay, here's the deal. We've got less than a minute to go, and then it's going to be our last segment. Folks, Kevin Fraser from Cheyenne Camping Center has been our guest this hour. We're going to close it out. I want to know, coming back from the break, why aren't you scared to death that you're not going to be sued by Camping World that's just going to bury you in a lawsuit? So you be thinking about that when we go to break. Folks, after the show, we're going to have an after-the-show show. If you'd like to call and speak with Kevin, you have a question about an RV or a warranty or the fine print or whatever, you guys that are watching online, we got a whole lot of you right now. Hang on, we're going to post up a phone number here in a little bit, and you can call and get right into the studio. Folks, this is the RV Show USA. I am Alan Warren, and Camping World, if you're listening, get in touch with me. We'd love to have you as a guest on the program as well. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
We are back with what's been, I think, a powerful hour of information and exposing Camping World and some of the tactics that they use on their customers. My guest is, well, he's my hero. If nothing else, he's a whistleblower for RV enthusiasts. Kevin Fraser from Cheyenne Camping Center, and we're going to have to close it out here pretty quick. What's the biggest takeaway you want our listeners and viewers to walk away with there, Kevin?
You asked me if we were afraid of repercussions.
Yeah, answer that one first.
Yeah, no, Justice Brandeis is protecting me. It's all true. And your other questioners, Last year, Camping World, among all companies in the USA, managed to finish second in the number of complaints at an online portal that is just for the unhappy called Pissed Consumers. The only company that got more complaints than Camping World was Walmart.
Really?
They got 100 million more transactions.
Well, and they're not 10, 20, 30, $100,000 transactions either.
But that was in the deep data from Pissed Consumer. The average alleged ripoff that was perpetrated by Walmart was 120. The number from Camping World, 14,000. It confirms everything that's in the video. It's all true.
Okay, so what's the biggest takeaway you want our listeners to have? You got about a minute to wrap it up.
I'm sorry, I can't sum it up that way. Just be smart. Look at what's happening to you. Finance with your own credit union, for heaven's sake. And don't buy any of these imaginary fake products that have no value at all. Oh, God, I wish I had more time to talk about what Good Sam does to people. It's astonishing. Marcus Laboinas brags about the fact that if he sells you the average policy of $4,000, he's going to keep 60%. And it's worse than that. So he will sell you a $4,000 ESP. He has an expense load of 39.5%. So that means that you're buying a prepaid policy that's going to give you services worth $800? Yeah.
Not a good deal.
Not a good deal. And then you're borrowing money to do it, so you're giving Marcus Lemoyne a 10-year interest-free loan. Why are people doing this?
I don't think he's going to invite you to any Christmas parties there, Kevin. I really think you're not on the good list anymore.
I'm sorry, Ellen, but I think he's won. He got his $1 billion out of the stock market.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up, folks. Listen, if you enjoyed this show, please don't keep it a secret. And do us a favor. Call and let us know that you enjoyed it. And if you didn't like it, you can call us and tell us that as well. Call the toll-free number 855-296-7469. It's our voicemail telephone number. Please call it, because some people may call the stations and go, this is really bad. We want people to know that, the stations to know that people really do enjoy this show. They do enjoy hearing the truth. And, Camping World, you've got an open invitation to join us if you'd like to. Again, the phone number, our voicemail is 855-296-7469. Until next time, I'm Alan Warren, reminding everybody that the way we RVers spell love, well, you know how it is. It's T-I-M-E. And we spend that time with family and friends and those we care about, enjoying the RV lifestyle. Goose, get us out of here.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
Hey everyone, I'm Miss Katie Warren, aka the graphics girl on the RV Show USA. Give us a like by clicking the thumbs up button down below, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye everybody.